berühren. Large collection of strangely painted eggs. Wow. You see several shelves full of white eggs, each one painted with a unique pattern of colorful shapes. Small placard pinned to one of the shelves says clown eggs. In the circus community, it is traditional for each clown to paint the chosen makeup pattern into an eggshell. These clown eggs are archived for future reference to ensure that no one chooses a pattern that has already been used. It is considered extremely taboo to wear another clown's face. These must be the eggs for the clowns that work in this circus. You recognize a few of them, like the clown here in the sideshow tent, and the ticket seller clown out front. Say, wait a minute. Here's the egg for the balloon selling clown. Didn't he tell you there's another guy wearing the same makeup? According to this sign, that seems unlikely. Habe ich mir nämlich auch gedacht. Inspect the more close. Sorry, no touching. Ist irgendwas Lustiges drauf? Das sind aber... ne, okay. Was haben wir hier? Looks to be one of those weird bent mirrors that make you look all crazy. As if there wasn't enough crazy looking stuff around here already. Look at yourself. Gah! This mirror somehow shows you what you'd look like in a clown makeup. Bloodshot eyes stare back at you from a pasty white face painted with an odd pattern of red triangles. In the flickering lantern light, it almost looks like he winks at you. Ist das bei dir auch so? Mirror makes you look really stretched out and thin. Your limbs twist and writhe like snakes as you move around. It's a bit unsettling and your muscles ache a little sympathetically. Das ist wie dieser Test, wenn, habe ich letztens ein Video drüber gesehen, hast du so beide Hände vor dir und dazwischen ist eine Wand. Und dann, also nee, du hast eine Hand vor dir liegen, eine Wand und da liegt quasi eine Fake-Hand. Und du siehst deine Hand nicht, aber die Fake-Hand. Und dann macht dein Gegenüber, piekst dann irgendwie in die Fake-Hand oder so und du spürst es dann an deiner Hand. Das war so ein Experiment, habe ich letztens gesehen. Daran hat mich das gerade irgendwie erinnert. Your reflection in the mirror is short and squashed, looking folded up like an accordion. You spend a moment moving back and forth in front of the mirror, seeing how the image changes. It's kind of amusing. Da sind aber gleiche Eier. Auf jeden Fall sehr ähnlich, ne? Obwohl das oben, oberste Reihe, zweites von links und die Reihe darunter, viertes von links, sieht gleich aus, ne? Das ist eine Actual-Therapie für Gelähmte. Oha, krass. Ja, okay. Muss man das Gehirn so austricksen, ne? Das ist crazy, ist schon lustig. Das ganz unten, ganz links und das ganz unten, zweites von rechts, die sind einfach nur gespiegelt. Das ganz oben, ganz rechts und das dritte Reihe, drittes von links, das sind dieselben. Filled with jars and the jars are filled with things. Really weird looking things. We lean in a little closer to inspect the jars. They mostly contain malformed and or mutated animals pickled in formaldehyde. A three-headed kitten, some kind of ferret or weasel with his 8 legs, twisted Möbius loop of snake without a head or tail. Weird crazy stuff. One shelf seems devoted to huge gross pale grubs, like fat featureless white worms the size of a sweet potato. The one on the end is larger than the others. It has shiny black eyes. Someone has painted its face in an apparent parody of clown makeup. Yuck. The pasty white face has been painted with little blue triangles over and under the eyes. The creature has a long, thin slash of a mouth as well, and the area around it has been painted with bright red lipstick. Black eyes flash red as the thing suddenly thrashes in the jar, spinning to face you and stretching its mouth open, revealing rows of yellow shark teeth. You stumble back with a cry of shock. Ah! Haha, got you pretty good there, buddy. What is it? It ain't a real critter. It's made of rubber and clay and doll parts and such. Got an electromagnet under the shelf to move it with. Takes a little push button gizmo out of his pocket to show you. Should have seen your face. You about jumped right out of your boots. Gemein. Was bist du denn? This guy is a startling sight, even for a circus freak show. His entire head is one enormous eyeball. As you look him over, he stares back at you. Not that he's got much choice, wollte ich gerade sagen. Hello there, I'm Schulli. How's it going? Can you talk? Guess not. Do you blink? Das habe ich tatsächlich auch gefragt. Or wink, I guess? Guess not. Take a closer look. You move a little to the side and lean over the rope to get a closer look at the guy. He's basically just what he seems to be at first glance, a guy with a giant eyeball for a head. Do notice two things though. First, he has an odd lump at the, well, what you would call the base of his skull if he had one. A sort of crumpled fleshy mass the size of a fist. With a squint and some imagination, it almost looks like the crushed and shriveled vestigial remains of a human head. The second thing you notice is that his ankles are locked to the legs of a stool. The legs of the stool are bolted on the floor. So the circus gig, how do you like it? His hands slowly curl into fists and the knuckles turn white with tension. I see, understand, I mean, yeah. See you around, bro. Oh yeah. This man is neatly dressed, though his suit is a bit threadbare and out of fashion. He's smoking a pipe and leafing through a magazine. When you stop to look at him, he nods amicably. Hello there, welcome to the sideshow. My name's Douglas. Hi, I'm Schulli. Oh, delighted to meet you. So, well, I'm perhaps trying to think of a polite way to ask what's wrong with me. You got me. Don't worry, Schulli. I am in a sideshow after all. It is an obvious and natural question. Wait a minute, you said that last bit without moving your lips. Are you a ventriloquist? Wahrscheinlich ein Nee. Wie nennt man denn diese Leute denn? Mundsprecher, nee, Bauchredner. Not at all. Allow me to demonstrate. He stands up and turns around. His back is the same as his front. That is, his suit has been tailored with two front sides, and he has another face on the back of his head, with his hair cut and parted appropriately. Ta-da! As he sits back down, his knees and other joints crack and pop loudly as they reverse themselves. Douglas winces slightly, though certainly not as much as you'd expect. What the hell? Surprising, yes. A bit, yeah? How's that even possible? Douglas shrugs, holds his pipe up to the now back of his head, so his other face can take a puff. Are you, what the phrase? Simon's twins? Not exactly. It's as difficult to describe, I'm afraid. Two minds, one body, with two faces? It would be closer to the truth to say two instances of the same mind. With, as you say, two faces. You're right, that doesn't make any sense at all. The other face chuckles and Douglas holds his magazine behind his back. It took some time getting used to. That much is quite certain. Du bist Mundsprecher? Ich bin auch Mundsprecher, glaube ich. Were you born like this? I would rather not discuss how I came to be this way if you don't mind. Sorry. Your knees must be wrecking. Surgery was necessary to permit them to bend in both directions. It sounds worse than it feels, I assure you. Why are you in a sideshow? With a regular suit and haircut, you could easily pass as normal. I have a contract. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot the clown making a gesture, but you didn't catch what it was. Douglas clears his throat. Plus, it's quite the life, you know. Free room and board, travel the world. And you meet such interesting people. Talk to you later, Douglas. Habe ich noch was übersehen? Nee. There's a lady here with her head sticking out of a hole in a large metal box. She nods politely at you. Hello? Hello there! Enjoying the carnival? Well, it's interesting. She smiles lightly. Yes, I'm sure it is. Can I ask you a question? Certainly. What is your name? I'm Janet. And you? I'm Schulli, and nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Schulli. Why are you in a box? That's a rather personal question, isn't it? Oh, sorry. I'm only teasing there. Would you like to see inside? Yeah. Sure. Janet whistles to signal the clown, and he moseys over. He unlocks the door on the front of the box and throws it open with a theatrical flourish. Inside, instead of Janet's body, you see a tangled, complicated assortment of glass tubes and pipes, ticking clockwork gears and pumps. Liquids of various colors, mostly red, slosh through the tubes. A large bellows near the top inflates, then begins to slowly deflate. And what do you think? Does this roleplay? It's some kind of trick, right? You're folded up behind a mirror in there or something? No trick. Clown chuckles and walks around the back of the box. He opens a hatch and waves at you through it, then saunters back to his place by the shelves. Ja, also es ist irgendwie krass, aber gleichzeitig auch krass, so, weißt du? Aber es ist krass, dass es geht, also es ist amazing. It's amazing! I've never seen anything like it. While I take that as a compliment, it's certainly educational, I imagine. The larger tank on the left is my stomach, if you'd like to see what I had for lunch today. Examine her workings. Watch the various liquids slosh around in the tanks and pipes for a minute. Weird and gross, but it's indeed educational. Alle anatomical learning. You know what makes a human being tick and how to stop one from ticking, to come to that. Kann sich nicht bewegen, nichts greifen. Yeah, das ist horrifying. How did this happen? Were you in some kind of terrible accident? I'm sorry, but I can't talk about that. Of course, sorry, it must be a painful memory. A calmly composed face creases into a very slight grimace as she shoots a sidelong glance at the clown. Yes. Well, it was nice to meet you, Janet. So long. Oh Gott. Sieht aber lustig aus. How are you feeling? If you're referring to my condition, don't worry. I've grown accustomed to it, more or less. Kann ich normal fragen, wie es passiert ist? Okay. How is it hanging? Nee, okay, ich kann... Kann ich den Clown irgendwie wegbekommen? Howdy, fella. Welcome to the sideshow. Thanks. What's to see in here? Well, down to the left we have our collection of spooky warped mirrors. Right here we have exhibits of clown eggs and pickled punks. And further down to the right is our freak show. Feel free to explore, and I'll be here if you got any questions. What's with those weird mirrors? Ain't they right? That's what they call an optical illusion, as I understand it. Has to do with the way the light reflects off them. I am 100% sure that what I saw can't be explained by the reflection of light. Hehehe, no telling what you might see if you look too long. About these people. You mean the freaks? Ain't this Scream? The one with the giant eyeball head is my favorite. Nice quiet fella. Uh-huh. If you have questions about the other two, feel free to ask them personally. I wouldn't want to be telling tales out of school. Since the eye guy can't talk though, you can ask me about him if you want. Okay, what can you tell me about him? Not much, I'm afraid, to be honest. He joined us about a year ago, maybe a little less. Where did he come from? No idea. Weird, ain't it? You'd think fella looks like that. You'd have read about him in all the papers, right? Well, yeah. It sure is mysterious. How'd you get like that? Couldn't tell ya. I bet you've got a theory at least. Well, maybe he saw something no human fella should ever see. Eyes looked to his chair. Ah, you noticed, did ya? Real shame that is. Fella's a bit unpredictable. Has a violent spell once in a while. Gosh. Don't worry none. I'm keeping an eye on him. Heh. Sass. Kannst du mir die Eier sagen? That's a traditional clown thing. Ja, okay, jetzt nichts Besonderes. What are these things in the jars? That's what we in the business call pickled punks. A menagerie of strange and twisted creatures, such as you've never seen the like, captured and preserved and on display for your entertainment and edification. That's how the boss says it. Are they real? As real as they come, heh. Kann ich den irgendwie loswerden und den Boys helfen? Wahrscheinlich nicht, ne? Lass hier ever blink. You mean wink? Nope, no eyelids. I gotta toss a bucket of water over him once in a while so he don't get too dry. He does look a bit dry now that you mention it. Yeah, it's getting about their time. Excuse me for a minute. Er ist beschäftigt. Vielleicht draußen die beiden Clowns, die gleich aussehen, zur Rede stellen und ihnen das petzen. Oder ich kann sie jetzt anfassen. Warte mal. Since the clown's distracted, you take the opportunity to get a closer look at the eggs. You notice two things about them. Firstly, they're too large to be chicken eggs. You have no idea what kinds of eggs they are. Secondly, they've all been broken and then very meticulously glued back together. They almost look like they've been reassembled after something hatched out of them. You quickly step back as the guard clown returns. He gives you a fair amount of side-eye, bombastic side-eye, but doesn't say anything. Damn, kann ich ihn nochmal wegschicken? Tschüss. Nice. We lean in closer to inspect the gross thing. Despite what the clown said, it certainly looks real. Whoever made it did an excellent and a disgusting job. Peeking surreptitiously under the shelf, you don't see any evidence of an electromagnet or other such device. Bombastic side-eye, Alter. Oh, was? You look into the mirror again and see your limbs stretched out like a taffy, twisting around like the tentacles of an octopus. You can hear your joints creaking and your muscles feel like they've gone through a wringer. Ich bin sore. Uff. You look in the mirror again and the clown you is still there staring. Very slowly his mouth opens into a wide grin, revealing multiple rows of yellow, pointed shark-like teeth. Not wanting to keep looking but unwilling to turn your back on it, you slowly sidle away until it's no longer visible. Swallowing hard, you approach the mirror again. It's empty. Not only is the clown you gone, you don't show a reflection at all. Okay, hier kann ich nichts machen wieder, ne? Hier kann ich aber... Mit denen kann ich nichts machen. Kann ich mit dem reden, dass es irgendwie weird ist? Nicht wirklich, ne? Zum anderen. Ich kann noch einen kaufen. Oh, earlier you told me there's another clown with the same face paint. That's right, the other balloon seller. Except I looked at the clown eggs display in the sideshow. There's only one egg with that pattern. And it's supposedly taboo for a clown to use another clown's makeup. Say, you're real sharp. Better watch out you don't cut yourself. Ho ho! So what's the deal? You're right, there's just me. I walk around the midway and sell balloons at both ends. When people ask, I like to have a little fun with them. So you're not actually following me around. Haha, why would I need to do that? You aren't dangerous or anything, right? Right. Anything else I can do for you? I'm good, thanks. Jetzt ist er wieder da. Okay, main event. Extremely muscular clown seems to be guarding the entrance to some sort of stage. Crosses his arms and grunts when you approach. Ticket, please. Ticket for what? Barnaby Bob's stunt spectacular. What's that? The boss does a show. Yes? Yeah. What kind of show? Knife tricks mostly. Here's my ticket. Okay. Go on in, show starts soon. Cool. Benches must be for the audience. Sieht nicht so aus, als würde mich Backstage lassen. Can't go through the backstage area, that hulking clown guard won't let you. You take a seat and a smattering of other patrons appear and sit down as well. After a minute or two there's a crash of cymbals and a clown runs in from the backstage curtain and jumps up onto the stage. In contrast to the other clowns' colorful clothing, his is relatively simple. Black wool trousers, nice, and a bright crimson shirt under a pale tan leather jacket with fringe on the sleeves, red heart painted on the shoulder. His face paint is plain white, without any colored accents, contrasting his curled black mustache and thin goatee. A snappy silk top hat with a rakish tilt tops out of his outfit. He doffs his hat and bows with a deep theatrical flourish, and the small audience claps politely. Yeah, yeah! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you! And welcome one and all to Barnaby's Bob's Perfectly Normal Traveling Circus Sideshow! I hope you've been enjoying the attractions and distractions of our little traveling carnival. And now it's time for our star performance, the main attraction. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for... A loud drum roll starts, and he gestures to the curtain, and then the cymbals crash again. Clown puts his head back onto the chuckle. Me! Barnaby Bob! Dich hier, wer fragt, ob du einen Clown gefrühstückt hast? Hab ich nicht. Ja! Much obliged, much obliged. You're far too kind. Or I haven't even shown you anything yet. With a laugh, he flips a large bowie knife into the air. You didn't even see where he pulled it from. The knife glitters as it spins. He catches it and flips it in the air again, this time catching and balancing it on its point on the top tip of one finger. He holds that pose very still for a moment, then jerks his hand out of the way. The knife thunks into the wood of the stage floor, deep enough that he has to give it a jerk from side to side before he can yank the blade free. He winks broadly to the audience. Wouldn't be any fun if they weren't sharp, would it, ladies and gents? Woo! He pulls 2 more knives from his jacket and begins a flashy and elaborate knife juggling act. 3 spinning blades somehow turn into 4, and then his head is added to the mix, floating lightly through the cascade of knives without a single scratch. He finishes the routine by catching the 2 of the knives in each hand and allowing his head to fall nearly to the ground, before catching it on the tip of his boot and kicking it back into the air and onto the top of his head. Woo! Ah, now there's some applause I believe I've earned. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it took a lot of heads to get where I am now. He chuckles as he adjusts his head back to its original rakish tilt. Now for the grand finale. For this I'll need a volunteer from the audience. A few hands go up, but Barnaby Bob ignores them and looks directly at you. How about you, sir? No, don't be shy. We are friends here, right? Come on up onto the stage. You hesitate, but Barnaby Bob starts up a round of applause and the audience joins in. Reluctantly, you climb up onto the stage. There we go. Not so bad, is it? Your name, please? Schulli Sheep. It's a real pleasure to finally meet you, Schulli Nice Sheep. Nice. Stand right there. Here, won't you? Stand here. A couple of clowns haul a large wooden panel about 7 feet tall and 4 wide up onto the stage. They stand it up vertically behind you and stay there, holding it up steady. It has 2 holes in it, slightly above waist level, and a lot of knife marks. Press your back flat up against the wood, please, and put your hands through the holes. You do so. The holes are just a fraction too high, so it's not very comfortable. And then one of the clowns pulls your arms back tighter and ties them together with rough hemp, so it becomes much more uncomfortable for a variety of reasons. Don't worry, this is just to make sure you don't make any sudden and unexpected movements. You wouldn't want that, would we? Das ist wie wenn der Lehrer fragt, wer die Hausaufgaben präsentieren will. True. Fret not, son, everything's under control. Steps up close to you and adjusts your collar. Brushes a little dust off your shoulders. My control. You know, surely we get a sharp customer through here from time to time. But my, you're the sharpest I've seen yet. However, I'd bet a shiny silver dollar I've got something up my sleeve that's even sharper. His pupils narrow to vertical slits as he grins at you, revealing rows of pointed yellow shark teeth. As he turns away, you can see that the heart on the shoulder of his leather jacket is drawn with an arrow through it and the word mom. It doesn't look painted on. Free your hands. You struggle a little, but your arms are too tightly bound. The rough hemp rope digs into your wrists. Barnaby Bob strolls to the other end of the stage and turns face to you. No, don't you worry. This will all be over soon. Just don't move. He has a knife on his hand again. Gives it a few twirls and flips. Light reflected from the blade glitters in his eyes. Then without warning, he hurls it at you. Thunk! Knife hits the wood before you can even blink a hair's breadth from your left ear. Barnaby Bob grins at you as the crowd applauds. Another knife appears in one hand and an apple in the other. He tosses the apple to one of the stagehands who carefully balances it on top of your head. Time for the old Willem Tell routine. A bit of cliché perhaps, but there's a reason it's a classic, ladies and gentlemen? Einmal durchatmen. Crowd watches with rapt attention as he flourishes the knife, spinning it and flipping it behind his back. Then faster than you can register, thwook. Cold apple juice dribbles into your hair and down the back of your neck. 2 for 2, what you say, Schulli? Shall we go for one more? Das klebt. Sure. Isn't he a good sport, folks? Barnaby Bob pulls out another knife and gives it a quick stropping across the pale leather sleeve of his jacket, then whips a colorful spotted handkerchief from his pocket and blindfolds himself. This time his smile is much colder. I advise you to watch closely, Schulli Sheep, since you're the only one of us who can. Watch closely. The crowd laughs, but you don't really hear it. The knife spins in the sand. This time, either because of the adrenaline or because he's actually moving slower, you can see the motion of his arm as he throws it. He twists his wrist in an odd way that you don't think he did before. The knife is flying at you. The knife is flying directly at your right eye. Don't move. The knife incredibly swerves at the last possible moment. Punk! You can feel the wood shake from the force as it stabs into the board. Metal is cold against your right cheek. The audience erupts into cheers as Barnaby Bob removes his blindfold and pumps a fist triumphantly. One of the stagehand clowns unties your wrist and helps you get your arms out of the holds. Bob takes your hand and raises it into the air victoriously. Well now, ain't he a good sport, folks? And as brave as a target as I've ever had. Take a bow, Schulli Sheep. Ich verbeuge mich. You bow to the cheering crowd, carefully keeping your eyes on Barnaby Bob. He bows as well, removing his hat with an elaborate flourish. Then he takes a slip of paper out of it. And as a token of appreciation, I'd like to give our star volunteer a gift. A year's supply of dynamite. Use it in good health. He hands you the coupon. The clown leans in close to your ear and whispers, "This was the only one you get, boy." Barnaby Bob waves and blows kisses to the crowd as you climb down from the stage, and then he disappears through the backstage curtain. The audience gradually disperses. Oh, Scheiße. Brutal verschluckt.